friends. It's Miss Cindy, and I'm here to read you another story today. Today is going to be another story about, what are we learning about? Lights and shadows. So what do you think the story will be? It's a story about shadows. And the title of our story is Guess Whose Shadow? See the question mark at the end? It's a question. Guess whose shadow? So we're going to ask you some questions in this book, so you have to use your eyes and your listening ears and make sure that you're listening and watching so you can answer the question. Guess whose shadow? And this story is written by Stephen R. Swinburne. He's the author. He wrote the words. And you know what? Let's look inside this book real quick and see what you think about the pictures. Do these pictures look like somebody drew them? Or do they look like pictures that somebody took? Yeah, they're actual pictures, aren't they? Nobody illustrated this book. There are real pictures in this book, and Stephen took those pictures too. See the shadows on the book? Do you see any shadows on the cover? I see some shadows. I see the little girl's shadow. That's really cool. She's jumping in the air and making a shadow. And I see a light post over here. I wonder what that is. I think it looks maybe like a flag. I think there's a flag maybe on the light post. Yeah, we're going to look at some different shadows in this book and see if we can guess what they are. Are you guys ready to play with me? Shadows are everywhere. Do you see his shadow? He's jumping into the water, and he has a shadow jumping into the water too. Once you know they are there, you can find lots of them. Do you see shadows on this picture? What can you see? I see the horse's shadows. And you have a shadow too, and your shadow follows you wherever you go. Just like in our story about Moon Bear. Remember when he tried to lose his shadow? This little girl's shadow is behind her. The sun is shining on her face, and it's making the shadow go behind her. Your shadow can be in front of you too. These kids' shadows are running in front of them. The sun must be on their back to make their shadow go that way. Your shadow can be behind you, it can be below you, or it can even be next to you. It all depends on where the light or the sun is at. It makes your shadow be in different places. But it is always there. What kind of shadow is that? Do you know what that is? Looks like a tree, doesn't it? And how about this? Do you see those frogs' legs there? I see his shadow. And the shade of the dark area behind you is called your shadow. If the sun is shining, anything can have a shadow. Look at all those shadows. I wonder what's making all those shadows. This one is the fire hydrant, but I wonder what all those are back there. What do you think they could be? Maybe trees or poles? Some shadows are big. There's a big shadow from a tree, and some shadows are small. See the spider's shadow? And you can play a game with shadows. You ready to play? Looks like he's going to play hopscotch with his shadow, but we're going to play Can You Guess the Shadow? You can go on a shadow hunt, and you can guess whose shadow. What do you think is making this shadow? What kind of shape does that make? Let's see. It's a little girl holding an airplane, making that shadow. Can you guess whose shadow that is? Do you think it looks like a person? Do you think it looks like an animal? Or do you think it just looks like some random object? What do you think that might be? Let's see if you're right. Ready? It's a bird. That's a bird shadow. It's a really big bird. Looks like maybe a blue heron. Guess whose shadow this is? What kind of shadow do you think that might be? Looks familiar. It's a bear. It's a little girl holding her teddy bear. Kind of looks like Moon Bear's shadow. Guess whose shadow this is? This one's kind of hard. This is a shadow you would see outside on the playground. It's the shadow of the swings. That sun must be straight up in the air because it's making shadows right underneath the swings. Guess whose shadow this is? Can you guess that one? I bet you guys can guess that one. It's the dog. The dog is jumping. This is a funny shadow. Can you guess whose shadow that is? It's a bicycle, but the little girl's holding the bicycle up on one wheel. Can you guess whose shadow this is? I wonder what they're doing in that shadow. Let's see. It's a little boy playing baseball. He's catching the ball with his glove. Some days it's cloudy and you can't find your shadow. And they have no shadow because there's no sun shining. I wonder if you went out today, if you would be able to find your shadow. Do you think it's sunny enough to find your shadow today? Maybe you'll get to go out and try that later. It's a little cold out, but if you go outside, remember to look and see if you can find a shadow. See if there's enough sun outside. But soon, the sun will shine and your shadow will be right by your side. Look, there's shadows, there's the horse and the little girl again. And you can even see the fence post. See all the fence? Shadows make great sunny day friends. Look at that picture. That picture looks familiar. Where have we seen that picture before? Remember the little girl jumping and the flagpole and the light post? Do you remember? That was on the front cover of our book. There it is. It's the same picture on the inside. The end. That was a really, really cool book with lots of really cool pictures of really cool shadows. So today, you maybe will go on a shadow hunt. And if you go on a shadow hunt and find some really cool shadows, I would love to see some pictures of them. So you can drop them down in the comment box later and let me know if you found some neat shadows. And also, go outside. This is going to be my question. We had a guess whose shadow question. Our question of the day today is going to be, if you go outside, do you think you'll see your shadow? You have to think in your brain. Will you see your shadow today? Let me know. Bye, guys.